What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy, Storyseller Jet, with another episode of the Datz So Fire talk show. And today we have Thomas Scott in the house with us, and we are going to talk about how to run a real estate company with AI agents. Thomas, it's such a pleasure having you in the studio.
Thank you.
Man, I'm super excited for our conversation today. So the way I typically like to start the conversation is to do a quick introduction of who you are, a little bit about background, and we'll get the party started.
I love it.
Ready?
Let's get in.
Awesome. So Thomas, who is Thomas Scott? And tell me a little bit about your backstory.
Well, we don't have that much time, but I'll give you the short and short. So I'm a real estate professional here in St. Pete. I've been wholesaling, flipping homes, creative terms, novations. I'm a land acquisition guy. Anything to really convert and get real estate, opportunities through the door. And, over the last couple years, been interjecting AI into the business, and it's just really been an insane game changer. And so now I've segued into the AI space. And now I have an AI agency called Stellar AI Solutions, and we help real estate professionals pretty much streamline their workflows, boost their productivity, and ultimately increase their top-line revenue.
This is fantastic. And I cannot wait for us to delve into this conversation because if I have, 100 friends on social media, 90 of them are in real estate. And I know this is going to be very valuable to anybody watching this right now. But before we get started, let's talk about you touring as a musician.
Oh, wow. I forgot you knew about that. So I've been an entrepreneur since I was like 23 years old. Moving through my journey, music has always been a huge passion of mine. And long story short, I found this group. It's a reggae rock group, actually.
Reggae rock.
In Pensacola. We traveled the Gulf Coast and just had a time of my life. I was actually a touring musician over a decade, so 10 years. But while I was a musician, I had an event production company. I was a light sound engineer as well. I put on over 500 events in my time. And so I love, just entertaining people. I love music. I love the vibe, especially in reggae. Like, there's no other music out there that brings all cultures, all ages together. And it was just an amazing time, as you can imagine, in my journey. But at the end of the day, music just don't pay the bills like real estate and some of these other things I'm in. And, just new chapters in life. But no, I definitely had a good time. I appreciate you bringing back the memory for sure.
Absolutely. So what kind of instruments did you play during reggae and touring everywhere and all of that?
Yeah. So in the band, I actually played percussion, keyboards, and I sang. And from time to time, I play guitar. That's actually my main instrument. So I'm a virtuoso. I play pretty much every main instrument out there. Anything that makes a sound, I could turn it into music for sure. I
wonder if we should ask him if he wants to sing and sing a little bit of reggae in the show today.
You got to put a tip jar out there, and musician will do anything for a tip jar.
Absolutely. You're so well rounded. You're also a great cook.
Yeah, you'll find out.
I find out. So again, this is the very first time that I've had somebody in the show coming here and brought a gift.
All you viewers,
you need to step it up.
Yeah.
Step it up. This guy just came here and found out that I'm Haitian, obviously, and then bring something that is very, I guess not native to the Haitian culture, which is pickles, which is something that we put on every single meal.
Condiment for those that don't know.
Yeah,
pickled veggies. Yeah,
yeah. How did you learn about how to make pickles?
Well, you just go online, and I was like, let me look up an amazing recipe, and I added my own little twist to it. So at my house, we love lots of condiments. We're always making something, new, inviting people over. We have other families that come. We do like dinner parties, and we'll find one culture, Greek, Italian. I've been making a lot of Moroccan food.
Why?
Pakistani.
Why
just to try something different.
Oh, okay.
Just to get a new flavor profile and just learn. I've I haven't been able to travel, overseas. So the best way I can maybe touch that culture a little bit is through their food. Music, once again, those are things that are dear to my heart. And so, yeah, I said, Jet is Haitian. I have Haitian friends. One of my neighbor was Haitian. And we used to eat a whole bunch of his food, smelled great, it's awesome. And I said, I just wanted to do something special for having me on the show. So I hope you and your family enjoy it. It's gonna be a little kick in it, but you Haitians love
yeah,
this.
we definitely love some good spice over there for sure.
Absolutely.
So you were a cook, you a former touring musician, and you transitioned to real estate. Did you own any businesses prior to joining real estate, or did you transition from doing music to real estate?
Yeah, good question. So I've owned a handful of businesses in my time, and I got in the entertainment world. We're always looking for new ways and new things to grow the business, or just kind of figure out different ways in the entertainment industry. And so being in festivals a lot, I ended up buying a oxygen bar company. And for those that don't know, it's concentrated oxygen. You breathe it in. There's all these different fragrances. So it gives you energy. It reduces hangovers, right? Like it's just a really unique experience. And so I was trying to figure out how, when I'm at these festivals, I could get people to come to my oxygen bar. And one of my roommates at the time was like, hey man, have you seen these drone things? And this is like right when the drones started to come out, brand new. And so I looked into it, and instead of thinking, I'm going to use this, because they had cameras on it, into film and do kind of what the DJI was aiming for, I had the creative idea, why don't I put like a banner on this drone and fly it around like the airplanes at the beach and try to get some promotions. So long story short, I ended up buying this drone, and it just took off. I started filming events in my town. I'm from Pensacola, 25 years there. I ended up filming a New Year's Eve event, and fireworks going off, and the drone was flying through it. Like, you may have even seen that footage. It was pretty viral. And that's kind of how I got my start with drone flying. And then so I got really serious into it. I saw a big opportunity there. I'm always innovating as a business owner and seeing what I could use to give me an edge. And so from there, I started filming using the drone. I actually was a part of an Emmy award-winning crew and filmed Kenny Chesney concerts. I did huge festivals, Victoria's Secret, Playboy, the Professional Bull Riding Championships. I've had opportunity to work with a lot of iconic brands using the drone. And I said, well, why am I just doing this? Let me go in full force and start a production company. So that segued into a production company, video marketing agency that I ran for 10 years plus.
Wow.
I then came here to grow that business. And then kind of COVID kicked in and kind of wiped the rug out from us. And I had to segue somewhere. Always wanted to get into real estate. And that's how it started.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an incredible story, an incredible journey. So you've done multiple different businesses. What are some of the challenges that you faced along the way, and how were you able to solve some of them?
Well, I think, any entrepreneur knows this, like, you just got to pivot and adapt and be creative. When your back's against the wall, the brain works in a very special way. And, I was always coming up with new ways, because I didn't have lots of capital to start these businesses. And I was just, guerrilla marketing. And I had this musician background where I was just boots on the ground, passing out flyers. Facebook was kicking in, MySpace. I'm sure y'all remember that. So I was leveraging anything that I could to potentially market. And so one of the challenges, obviously, as an entrepreneur, and I would call myself more of a solopreneur when I started, but was growing a team and trying to understand you can have all these ideas, but executing, putting the whole plan together and then adding value to people, it's hard. It's not as easy as people think. And I think that's probably why a lot of people are so nervous about starting a business. But at the end of the day, you're going to live someone's dream. It might as well be yours versus, this guy. So over the years, learned a lot of lessons from, business partners and how to grow and scale teams. And yeah, I mean, it's every day. And as we pivot and move into new era, you got to learn. You got to continue to educate yourself and build that mental game up so you can stand above the rest.
Absolutely. You mentioned COVID earlier, and I know that COVID was the culprit for a lot of organizations to basically close their doors.
Oh yeah.
And obviously, that was a very, very hard time for a lot of businesses. So you were having, the production company, and COVID happens, and you decided to close that. And gotten into real estate. Can you talk to me a little bit about that transition? Of kind of like, how you got to get started with, the real estate business. Since you probably didn't have any prior experience on that. What was the transition like from running a video production company to starting a real estate business?
Yeah.
For me, I'm like surrounded by a lot of fantastic
I know.
real estate investors, and I'm in the video production industry, but eventually maybe investing in some real estate stuff, I want to do that too. So maybe you'll kind of shed a little bit of light on that for me during that transition. I never want to stop doing this, by the way, just kind of as additional investments and doing all of that.
Yeah, so when in my video production company, a big part of our revenue and our focus was actually working with real estate agents and brokerages doing really high-end listing videos and helping agents. And so that was my only connection to the real estate world. I thought when it came to real estate, you're just an agent. Like, I didn't really understand that there was a whole nother world of wholesaling and investing and how to get deals and creative ways, sub-2, novations. I didn't even have any understanding. So I was hired, believe it or not. There was a guy, and probably a lot of people, if you're in real estate over the last 5-10 years, you probably know this name, especially if you're in Tampa. But there was a brilliant young man. His name was Rafael Vargas. He was wholesaling, I believe, making 10 million plus a year. And so he was started to have these events where they would have people from all over the country come in. They're spending 25, 30 grand, becomes listen to Raphael, pull back the curtain, give the blueprint, and learn how to virtual wholesale. So he actually hired my company to film the 2-day seminar, right?
Wow.
So I am filming while I'm hearing all of this, and I'm just like, this is crazy. Like, these guys are making some money, and it doesn't sound like it's hard to get into. There's no, you don't need any capital. There's no risk, getting into it. And I just thought it was very intriguing, right? So fast forward 4 or 5 months later happened, and that's when COVID kicked in. So I had to get, I had a family. We just brought them here from Pensacola, and I got to figure out what I'm going to do. Jet, what am I going to do? I'm a father, and at the first time in my life, I'm like, I might have to go work for somebody, and that's hard ego to hit, right? Especially when you've been doing your own thing. But it was kind of that time to pivot, and the light bulb went off, and I remember that guy who was talking about wholesaling? And I'm like, yes, and why don't we give that a try? So I actually went out and started applying for any type of position at a real estate firm so I can learn, and got a position as a disposition manager at a company actually here in Tampa. And that was great. I started like this new world that I didn't know. And then next thing I know, 3 months later, they end up getting rid of the company. They move into tech, and they let everybody go.
Wow.
So here I am again now. Like, what am I going to do, Jet? Right? And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and just dive in and do like I always do and just give it a whirl. Take massive imperfect action and just let's go, right? Like a buffalo towards a storm. That's what I did. And so the first year, and by the way, from that company, I had built up a buyer list. And granted, anyone who knows in this market, it was getting crazy. It was getting wild where you could have sold a doghouse and made some good money, right? And so I had this buyer list, had nothing, no background in real estate, and I ended up doing over 37 transactions my first year, did 6 figures, and all I did was leverage other wholesalers' deals.
Wow.
Moving to the next year, I ended up saying, all right, let's throw some fuel on the fire. Let's start marketing. Let me get more control of what's coming in, and I ended up 3xing my revenue. I said, all right, this is cool, right? This is awesome. I'm homeschooling my kids. I'm at the house. I'm not, clocking in on a job or anything. So this is like an amazing lifestyle for me at this point. Moving to the third year, I end up growing the revenue. Keep in mind, just by myself. Now we're doing direct mail marketing. We're testing other lead sources, but I come up with this very unique business model where I would just find a marketing partner. We still have this. It's called Flip Flow, and we basically provide a complete real estate company for investors and small teams.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, because most of these guys, they just want to work on the renovations. They just want to manage their crews and do the project and flip homes. They don't want to have to do the marketing. They don't want to have to answer phones and the leads and qualify them and get cussed out by the sellers for sending them stuff. They don't want to do the negotiations, right? They just want to do what they do best. So I found a few guys. I said, hey, I'm having success in this market. I'd love to enter the Tampa market, the Pasco market. Let me do what I'm doing here. And all you do is fund the marketing campaign and I'll handle the rest. Just leave it up to me. And so I would negotiate on behalf of my buyer and get deals done. And they would pay me, 10, 15 grand, whatever it is. Even some on the back end, I would partner on the deals once they did it. So I still have that business model. I still do that. So the real estate business aside, that's mainly the revenue is from wholesaling and working with, market partners. So within that, I started to get, just like anybody, and if you're out there listening, if you wear many hats, right, you can get so torn from left to right doing so many things. It's hard to be really good at one part of that business, right?
Yeah.
So now I have these market partners. Now I got lead generation pumping in, and I'm missing leads. I'm missing calls. I'm out here doing things. I'm on the phone. Speed to lead is everything. When they call you, you better answer that phone, right? Or get back to them really quick. And so I was kind of dropping the ball, and that's just not how I do things. My clients were hoping I can capitalize on their investment in marketing, and it was my job to close those deals. So following up started to slip through the cracks. I'm sure people listening, they know that's actually one of the biggest problems for any business owners doing the follow-up. And so I end up saying, how can I fix this, right? So I tried VAs, I tried call centers, and it just didn't work out for me. Then that's when it happened, Jet. OpenAI came out. I saw a video of them talking to this AI agent on the phone, and they were having full-on conversations. And I just said, the light bulb went off, like, what if I use that in this business and have the bot pretty much answer the calls and qualify them, and then just kick them off to me when they're qualifying. They got their hand raised. I want to hear an offer, right? So that's when it started. I searched domestically, nationally, globally for a team, and I finally found a company out of London. We ended up building a very robust AI system and agents. Took me over 2 months to build, wow. Tens of thousands of dollars, and insane amount of time interviewing companies and people to get it done. But when it was all done, we ended up testing it. The first month, I saved about 40 to 50 hours, not answering calls, not qualifying, not data entry, doing the follow-up, because the bots actually not only answer calls, they make outbound calls as well, via texting as well. So we were now using it for outreach to see if sellers were, homeowners were interested in selling the property, hearing an offer. So that's when it happened. Then all the guys start coming at me. Can you build this for me? Can you build this for me? I wasn't planning on starting an AI agency, but
that's like that's how the best thing starts.
Out of necessity?
Out of necessity. Yeah. Or when you start something and people seeing the success that you're getting from it, and they're reaching out to you, and then now a whole new company that you weren't even planning on doing just get started. So yeah, super fantastic. So for the people that are newbie at this, what is the difference between an AI agent or like a chat bot or even like, one of those tools out there like ChatGPT. And I know you can, I know what that is, but like for the people that are newbie at this, watching this show, can you talk to me about the difference between all of those different tools?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that people don't know. AI is a sexy word right now. Marketers are using it for everything. At the end of their whatever it is, it's AI, right? But at the end of the day, really most of this stuff is just algorithms for the most part. It's not even AI. AI meaning artificial intelligence. Then you have like machine learning. Then you have things that are more progressing, AGI, like artificial general intelligence, which just get even deeper into how these things are operating. So what we build at my company is AI-powered systems, fully automated with AI agents that in plain terms are just see them as employees. That's it, assistants that do specific tasks and jobs for you. And at the end of the day, when you have a team of AI agents, you have AI-powered systems, you're going to be able to streamline a lot of that workflow, right? You're going to boost the productivity. You're going to be able to get more output with less input. And what I say is AI is all about eradicating the inefficiencies. And so if many people, listening, if you're wearing many hats like I was, like most people do, you spend your time on a lot of these low-level tasks that just eat up your day, and it's not conducive to moving that needle forward to revenue and growing the business, negotiating and things of that nature. So if you can imagine, getting rid of all of that stuff, you're going to save an exuberant amount of time. And that's what this technology is doing, giving people their time back. It's working alongside humans to allow them to function and be more productive.
Yeah, I cannot wait for us to get deeper into that and how you're saving people time. But before we get to that level, let's talk about the process of building a business that is basically offering that solution to people, Stellar AI solution. And you told me that it took 2 months for you and like thousands of dollars to kind of figure out.
Yeah.
For the people that might want to start like AI business, can you talk to me about the process of doing something like this?
I mean, first off, you got to have a vision, right? For me, I missed out on the .com boom. Granted, I was a little younger, but I missed out also on the crypto. I've never been a guy in like stocks and stuff like that. So I am just one of those guys that always just jumped in. I see an opportunity, and I see AI as this big blue ocean of opportunity. You see it everywhere. We all know what's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's not going anywhere. So I'm always having my eyes peeled to see what I can invest in where I know it's not going away. And so for anyone who's, even considering, you got to have that vision. Like what are you trying to accomplish? Why are you trying to do it? And then once you have that vision, then you got to create a process. Then you got to create the systems, and then you got to have the people, right? That's the 4 pillars and that I pretty much base everything on, right? So for me, I learned the hard way. And keep in mind, I was on the forefront of this technology, and I still am. I've been building these systems almost 2 years. People now are just starting to think about ChatGPT, like, oh, 5 is awesome. Granted, it is great. And there's a lot of LLMs out there, large language models. These are what the AI is based off of, right? So there's a lot of this stuff out there. But when starting one of these businesses, I said, I don't want my clients to go through what I did, spending months and months and tens of thousands of dollars investment. And I had to hold their hand to show them my systems so they can integrate and build the bots and data entry and how it all gets set up. A lot of moving parts. I wanted to simplify the whole process and give my clients a very great experience from onboarding all the way to using the systems and then optimizing them moving forward. So we ended up, and keep in mind, when you use a lot of integrative tool, third-party platforms where you're using multiple of these platforms, AI is going to be laggy, especially in the voice side. Latency is going to be an issue. So we're like, how can we streamline this and get it really just out of the gate easy, out of the box, done for you. 5-7 days, my clients are up and going. They got their system. I need to replicate what I've done and do it quick. So we ended up finding some platforms, a couple actually that we use, just 2. And they integrate and they play very well together. And so what we're able to do is we already have the systems built and we find out what our clients' needs are. We have a lot of different products for real estate professionals, wholesalers, investors, real estate agents. We work with title companies, and now we got partnerships with lenders as well. They're like, can we use your system to find buyers? And of course you can, but our main focus right now is wholesalers, investors, and agents. And so we listen to them, find out where the inefficiencies are, where the pain points are, and then we create those products and systems specifically for them. And then and we go from there.
That was going to be my next question. How does Stellar AI Solutions work? Do you create specific custom products for the people that you serve, or do you have an overall platform that they basically plug in and play?
That's a good question.
Systems.
Yeah. So once again, at the end of the day, we want to, and we have to make it easy for people because they all got their lives. They don't want to learn a new system. They don't want to have to, train their staff on a whole new process, right? So we build out of the box. We already have it. They sign up within 5 to 7 days, like they're good to go. We create a sub account within our agency CRM, and then we connect the bots, and then we go, all right, here's the bots. So they know what they're getting. They're getting X amount of bots. They're getting a CRM system. They're getting built-in automations. Like, it's all buttoned up for them. However, there are clients that really just don't want to do that, and they want us to integrate and play with their own systems. We're willing to do that. I have a team of over 37 software engineers and automators, part of the team, and we could easily do that. We don't want to infringe on our ability to scale and grow. That's why we produce those out of the box systems. But for those outliers who have the money to spend, we're talking anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000 to build these really robust systems. We can do it for them as well.
This is fantastic. So if you were watching this, this conversation today is about how to run a real estate company with AI agents, and this is the legend to do it with. Now that you've created that whole suite of tools and bots, can you talk to me a little bit about some of the different tools that you have in your tool belt? What are some of the different bots, and what do they do for AI companies?
Yeah. So once again, focusing on real estate, we have different products for specific people where they're at in their business, right? For example, we have a system that's built for companies that have lead gen already in place. So they got tons of leads coming in, and they're looking to capitalize on those leads, because most of the time, if you're a business owner, you spend all this money on marketing, advertising, but you're missing calls. In our world, that's a lot of money and potential loss, right? 100%. So what our systems does is it captures those leads via either a voice agent, so they call in acting as if they're like a lead manager, or VA answering the call, qualifying them, and then kicks it over to a rep, transfers, schedules appointments right then and there. If they're driving traffic to a website and they fill out a form, I want to hear an offer, whether you're a seller, buyer, whatever it is, these bots can jump into that role. Speed to lead is everything. They can the prospect can receive a text on their line, or get a call immediately from a bot. So it builds that trust and credibility fairly quickly with the prospect, which is ultimately going to help close the deal on the other end. Because most of the time, if you don't answer that phone, what are they doing? They're not leaving a message, and they're just going to go to their stack of postcards that every investor or wholesaler sent them, and they're going to call the next person.
Yeah.
So we have systems that boost conversions. So it actually reduces your CAC, improves your return on your ad spend. And what we're seeing is they don't even need to spend that much advertising, because they're getting more leads answered and converted on that front end. So that's the inbound stuff. And then we have systems that actually do outbound and do lead generation. So we have a system called Home Hunt AI.
Interesting.
And what that does, it's great for wholesalers. It's great for investors. And what they use it for is to reach out to, say, real estate agents. A lot of investors and wholesalers, they don't really look at agents as a lead source, but it's a very underrated source, and their information is available, is out there. And I see it as low-hanging fruit. So we have AI that literally reaches out to agents and asks if they have any on or off-market properties that fit our criteria. You can use the AI to reach out to homeowners to see if they, would like an offer. And then here's the cool part. For wholesalers, we have a system where once you get that deal under contract, we have dispo bots that will literally reach out to your buyers and sell the deal for you.
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah. So, how many tools have you created with many agents have you created? You mentioned the last two over here, but how many tools do you have in your tool belt right now?
There's a lot. And we're always creating new tools as we see it, right? So we have like custom GPTs right now that analyze properties. So there's a lot of time spent underwriting deals. And when you're at scale or volume, you want to be able to analyze properties very quickly. For example, my real estate outreach bot, we get about 3 to 7 leads a day. These are agents that are giving us properties, and it keeps growing and it's compounding. So it's hard to just, focus and have someone just analyze. So we built a GPT that, based on our formulas, how we underwrite deals, gets comps, it gets potential renovation costs, and then it throws our formula in there and then pumps out a max allowable offer. And so we're able to get to these agents quickly, and within the system, we can send out a contract within 2 minutes because it's built in. We no longer do you have to manually send out contracts. So that's one. I have a sales coach critique. So within the system, if you want to role play, you want your teams to be better, we have role playing bots where you can literally role play with an AI and it will do its thing and then critique you on the back end. We also have it to where you can upload a transcript from a phone call and put it in there, and it will rank you where you're at. So there's a lot of these like little tools we have. And by the way, if you are listening and you're interested, for free, we have an AI ultimate toolbox. And if you want to go to my Instagram, it's boom.with AI, and just DM me and I'll send you that. And it has all those goodies in there. It also has the tech stack that we use. So all the platforms, all the tools that we use right now in our operation that are AI based and automated based, we just share with people how to run GPT like a boss and how to prompt, things like that. You go to my YouTube channel, tons of content. I pull back the curtain on how to prompt these bots and show really what's behind it all. It's very fascinating for those who definitely are interested.
That's fantastic. What do you think are some of the misconceptions that a lot of people have about AI in today's world?
Oh, flat out from the get-go, since I started, people aren't going to want to talk to AI, Tommy. Right? Just like back in the day, people aren't going to need a website. Yeah. Right? So the writing is on the wall, though. There's so many studies out there. Our data alone, thousands and thousands of calls, plus our clients' calls. People prefer to speak to an AI bot over as other types of these IVR type systems. They would prefer to talk to an AI bot that literally hears them, communicates. I mean, this isn't just like some pre-recorded stuff that you're just talking. It's having full-on conversations like you and I. It can understand tonality and implement empathy. Like it's getting really wild, right? And so it's just getting a little crazy to think where we are now and where it's going to go. But I get freaked out even because, a lot of people are like, well, what about Terminator? You ever seen Terminator? It's like, what do you think's going to happen? But at the end of the day, the data shows that people are okay with it as long as it streamlines that conversations and gets them to where they want to be. We have sometimes people ask our bot, is this an AI bot? And we train the bot to say it is, or it might even, we throw some humor and it might even laugh a little bit and say, hey, you caught me. I am an AI agent, but I'm just here to gather some information and then get you to a human who can help you.
This is fantastic. We had a fantastic, very energetic conversation this morning with the person that we had using the studio earlier. And it was all about like the future of AI and all the different things that we are going to get as a result of that. So what do you think or what are your prediction of where AI is going to be in the next year or two?
Well, I certainly think that businesses are going to come around and start to see this and start implementing it in their businesses. Just like anything, humans, our nature is to protect ourselves. And so we always kind of put the blockers on, right? When it comes to something new. Well, that's not comfortable. It's not familiar. And so over time, though, as you will start to see this, more and more businesses are going to jump on board. More and more businesses are going to start using AI. Some folks say, well, AI is going to replace humans in all our jobs? Potentially, just like, in the revolution industry. I mean, it's going to replace jobs. But guess what? It replaces the market and the economy with opportunity and jobs in that field as well. So I see that AI is going to be working well and alongside humans, once again, to eradicate those inefficiencies. And, I don't know. It is kind of scary to think I'm a product of the 80s. So I've seen Terminator and all those movies. But when you push fear aside, and you see really what the opportunity is and how it's going to really help you, I think a lot of people and companies are going to come around, and everyone's going to have a bot. Everyone's going to have robots in their house eventually. Matter of fact, AI is already being streamlined and implemented into a lot of the smart devices in your home and things of that nature. So I guess we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm going to use it for good. That's for sure.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier about how Stellar AI solution is saving people a ton of time. Can you give me some specific example of like how you've been able to do that?
Yeah. So we ask people all the time, like, what's one part of your business that you just dread doing, but you can't ignore? And we hear like follow-up, right? It is a big deal. Answering calls. So when you look at, like in my business, when you're doing $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 is your average ticket, and then you look at how many hours you spent that month to get that revenue, and you just do some reverse math, and then now you know how much you're worth per hour. Okay, now let's figure out how many of those low-level tasks, answering phone calls, maybe data analysis, qualifying people, doing the follow-up, how much of your time is being spent doing that, right? Let's start there. That is where the AI starts to get rid of all those tasks for our clients to allow them to focus on higher priority tasks. So we want to get rid of the low-paying jobs, right? That most companies right now, in our world, they hire VAs, call centers, lead managers, acquisition people like that, right? So AI is actually starting to eradicate those types of services unless they get on and add those features. So that's kind of where we see it right now, is just get rid of the low level tasks. How much time is that taking up of your business? And then you start to see, wow, I'm worth $1,000. You need to be focused on those $10,000 tasks, negotiating, closing deals, and growing the business.
Yeah, for sure. So if I'm a real estate business, what are some of the tools that I can utilize to really run my company for me and save, those types of
what we offer, or just in general, some things out there?
Let's start with what you offer, and also maybe some other things that you would recommend that people also do.
Yeah. So based on, what you do in real estate, wholesale, are you investing? Are you a real estate agent? It just depends on where you're at also in those businesses. So we do offer different options and products to serve those folks at where they're at in their stage, right?
Yeah. Since we probably have a lot of like real estate investors watching this, what are some of the tools that you offer that could solve those problems for the real estate investors? And maybe what are some of your recommendations of things that you see that people should consider adding to their tools stack?
Yeah. So out of the gate, just start somewhere. In ChatGPT is great. There's a lot of other LLMs out there, Claude and Gemini, and you see them all. They all do different things for different purposes. Some are really good for coding. Some are good for deep research. Some are good for the voice and conversational AI. So when it comes to an investor, I told you we have a unique business model, flip flow. So if you're an investor and all you want to do is focus on the flipping and that nature of the business, then we can help basically provide a complete real estate business with professional acquisition, disposition specialists combined with AI powered tools. When it comes to them wanting to, work with us, maybe they already have lead flows, then we can create those AI bots that can answer the phone, boost your conversions, right? And then have it on the back end for follow-ups, stuff of that nature. Plus, if they want to use the GPT for analyzing and stuff of that nature, I think is a big play for them because they don't want to do it. And so that's what we're doing. So if they don't, maybe they are like, we will just want to learn how we could do it in-house. All right, let's go there. Start off with, GPT, right? And then there's a lot of platforms that offer where you can build your own bots and integrate. Once again, you got to take time, energy, and learn these things. But we build it out of the box system, make it real easy so they can get up and go in a short amount of time.
Yeah. What is the most underrated or tools that is out there that people are not using in their business that could potentially change the game for them?
I mean, content creation. If you're out there building, content and you're doing it all your own, you got graphics that you're building, like AI can help with that now, right? And stream like that. If you're looking to do marketing, social media marketing, you can use AI to plan, 1 week out, a month out, 3 months out of content, set it up and then let it go and drip as you move along. So content creation is easy. Evaluating properties, underwriting, once again, another big one where they spend a lot of time and energy on. They can literally use, some of these large language models to help them with this. Data analysis. So when we're pulling lists, we now use predictive indexing and AI to look at markets where, let's just say 6 months ago, homes were sold on a market, and there are a lot of variable points that show us that these homes sold to an investor or less market value, retail value. What was it about those homes that we can use and attach that data to the markets, the homes on market now? So using AI to do predictive indexing, which is the PowerPoint to every, marketing, is you got to have great data. So now you use AI to do that. We have AI that actually will take the list and you can scrape it through another AI tool. My buddy, his name's Trey. Go see him, Pick Leads. He has an amazing AI product where you could take your list and AI will go through that list and use Google Photos and look at the external home from the roof, the yard, everything, and then rate it on 1 to 10 how ugly it is. And investors know we want the ugly houses. So we could then take a list that we've already pulled with AI data, condense it, right? Now we got a very focused target list and use AI to look at the images of these homes and give us the ugly homes. Now we got a very small list, and then we go direct mail them, and you get better conversions. Even though it's a smaller list, you have a very laser focused, a list. So a lot of things like that. And we can go on and on for sure, but that's kind of just right out the dome where I think people can just start utilizing it, immediately.
Yeah. Can you name the top 3 to 5 tools that are your favorite, and why is that?
All right. Well, if we start with content, I like CapCut. That's great. I think a lot of people are using CapCut. Another easy one, Canva. Canva's nice, and starting to use AI. Obviously, all the LLM models, OpenAI, Claude, Gemini, even DeepSeek. These are other models that have different benefits for whatever. There's, let's see, some other ones that we use. Assistable.io is very powerful. That's kind of where we use a lot of the stacking with the AI stuff in conjunction with our platforms. There's so many. Like I'm losing thought of just like which ones to even think about. But
which
like
ones?
I said, in our toolbox, I have all the stack there though that we do use if anyone is interested.
Awesome. Yeah. We'll talk a little bit about that and how people can maybe get a hold of you or like, really learn about the different tools that you have in your tool belt. We'll talk about that at the end of the talk show.
Sure.
You have created all of these tools. Can you share with me what some of your favorite stories of people that have used your platform and getting like, what kind of results that they're getting? Can you share with me a little bit of like, the top stories of like, the people that have like,
Yeah. So we're getting a lot of in wholesaling that guys that are focusing on land. And one of our clients, he got started and he had a direct mail campaign and he had like a list of like 1,500, parcels he was looking for. And he got 58 leads. Okay. Now this guy, he also works a W-2 job. He was considering hiring a company to help him answer those calls and stuff like that. But when he compared it to what we bring to the table, the costs and just how it works, he said, you ended up jumping on board. But he got 58 leads and the AI answered 58 calls, right? Ended up scheduling, I think it was like 14 or 15 calls, transferring like 12 calls, right? And so when we looked at his scheduling costs, it was like $1.15 like per appointment scheduled.
Wow.
So like, once again, if you are wearing many hats, it's impossible when you start getting and scaling to be able to answer all these calls unless you have a robust team, and that gets expensive. And once again, you got to recruit, you got to find them, you got to train them, you got to keep them. So the overhead costs that my services provide are way up there in the sense of like, I'm trying to think of a client right now. For example, I have a guy, he was spending almost $900 on a VA plus the systems to manage it, just to reach out to agents. That's all his job was to do, call agents. And now we were able to get him on board because our system does just that, and it's at a fraction of the cost. So he reduced his overhead costs and now increased his productivity and get deals that way. When I first launched that product my own, I always test everything in-house, and within one and a half weeks of launching that product, we ended up getting a deal under contract with an agent. My Dispo bot found a buyer, and within 2 weeks we closed and made 10 grand. So that's a fairly new product. So we're still getting case studies and building stuff like that. But a lot of the clients really right now are using it to answer the leads, and that's the majority of them right now. So when we look at the calls, when we look at breakdown, well, what's the cost of that lead and what it took to get an appointment and then get a contract out, you're just seeing really good numbers in the sense of time saved, right? That number one, time saved, and then how many appointments are coming through, and then is the system following up once again? And so not all the calls coming through will be good. We've had some deals where, a year down the line, sellers are coming back saying, hey, talk to you. And our follow-up was able to capture that and close more deals as well.
Yeah. Obviously, as of recently, I think it was probably like maybe in the past week or so, ChatGPT came with ChatGPT 5. And I feel like it has like, people are saying that it sucks. Some other people are saying, oh, it's so great. What are your thoughts on ChatGPT 5? Have you been using it, or like, what are some of the things that you think it's going to help with, and what's the difference between of the 5 or the 4 that was like, before that?
I was going to say, let's go back to OSS because I think that's amazing. For those that don't know, so OSS is basically a downloadable version of this software that literally goes onto your hard drive, to your hard drive, right? Laptop, your desktop. So a lot of people worry about all the data that it's sharing with it. And of course, Microsoft's getting it, like, all these companies are gathering that data. That's how the model actually builds and learns as well. But I thought it was really cool that they have now, you could literally have AI agents on your desktop, on your computer. You could be anywhere. You don't need internet access. Okay. Your data is not being shared across all these platforms. And they're performing just as well as some of the top performing GPTs out there right now on the market. I think that was really just a big move. It's totally for free as well. I wonder how these guys profit. Like, there's like something's got to be going on. But when it comes to the 5, I literally, I've done, good amount of research, but I haven't dove in too much. And that's the thing with AI. You're going to see new things coming out every day, right? And so at the heart of that, the landscape of AI and how to get these bots doing what they're doing, or how to train any of this stuff, it comes down to prompting. So if anyone is at any remotely like interested in learning this stuff, you want to learn how to prompt, because that's not going to go away. Prompt engineers, you're going to see a lot of positions and opportunities for prompting, because once again, new technology is going to come out. Everyone's going to come out with stuff, and it's always going to be ever interchanging. It's going to be impossible for anyone to keep up with everything that's on the market right now.
Yeah. So with all those changes and new opportunities coming from that, how do you specifically stay ahead of the AI growth, and how do you stay ahead with AI?
I just subscribe to like a lot of like the top guys out there in the market. I look at not only AI companies, but from like an investment and stock standpoints, like what is needed to grow AI right now? You got chips, right? You have to have data centers. Well, then now you have to have land that's in specific areas that can accommodate these data centers, right? So looking at mining, you got Taiwan, who's the largest producer of these chips, okay? Like what's going on over there in that area, right? Geopolitical stuff that's going on. So I try to keep my hands in as much as I can, but I do have a lot of influencers that all they do, and that's all they do, is just AI news, and they're getting their info from insights from NVIDIA and all these companies that are pumping out stuff like that. So a lot of YouTube, believe it or not, just YouTube. I subscribe to some guys that are way beyond what I can even fathom. The next level for me, like where I'm at right now is like, okay, great. Like we're building stuff. The future is really orchestration of AI. Imagine having an AI orchestrator who's one guy, and then now he tells all of these other agents below him what to do without you prompting the bot. You tell that one agent, I want you to do, this is the goal. I want you to build this. And without you doing any coding or anything, that one agent now will orchestrate a complete downstream directives to these other AIs in swarms almost. It's like swarms, dude. I heard a story of a guy who built these systems. Like they're all like way up there. If you even hear them talking, it's like a different language. But they build these systems, and the whole agent side of it is building it for them. And he ended up selling to a Saudi company a software for $1 billion, and his swarm built it in a day. Just told him what to do, and the swarm built it. They documented everything. They test everything. Then from the testing, they deploy it, and then now you got a finished product, and it was just this one AI that commands everything, like an army.
Yeah, that is crazy.
It is wild, man.
I really like that thought, and I mean that could potentially be like replacing everybody from an organization, because now even the CEO, you can have that one AI agent that is kind of communicating all of that and basically replacing you as the main person as well. What are your thoughts on robots powered by AI in the future that are like taking over like construction businesses, or like taking over like anything of the manual laborers, or even like replacing doctors and engineers and all the other stuff? What are your thoughts on AI robots in the future doing all of that?
They're coming. They're coming. Yeah, I mean, you just look at all the videos and stuff being pumped out right now. It's wild. I was actually, when I told you about me being in the drone industry, one of my friends and mentor was, he was one of the guys at the IHMC Institute, the Institute for Human Machine Cognitive, and they invited me into their studio area, and I got to witness a bot that's going to be walking on Mars.
Wow.
They're building a bot that's literally walking on Mars here. And you know, as a kid, like I said, I'm a product of the 80s, robots, and so it's all really cool stuff. But it's like here now. And I mean, we got a little bot in our house. It cleans the floors and, you know, stuff like that. So one of my partners, he's actually working on a robotics company for elderly and for children. You know, they find that elderly people, when they, you know, if they're not in a family environment and they're in these homes, they live longer when they have communication, they're talking and stuff like that, rather than just having nobody. And so they're working on robots that can actually work and build relationships. And it sounds so disconnected because I'm you know, I'm a human being. I'm a spiritual creature. I love connecting with other human beings. That's what we're built for. We're social creatures. And so I still have, you know, Jet, like my thoughts about what the future looks like. I have 3 kids. Like, what does this look like? You know, I ran around on my bike and I was in nature all the time, fishing and jumping in and out of ponds and, you know, stuff like that. So it's going to be a different world. Robots are definitely coming. Once again, I just hope that we can leverage them for good. At the end of the day, we know there's crazy people on the planet. You're seeing militaries right now using them, dogs with weapons and moving around. You're seeing all this stuff, DARPA and everything they're doing. You know, hold our breath and see. But yeah, I mean, I see in the construction too. I think that's really cool. Like if you can use a construction worker and he's able to lift a whole bunch and he's never going to complain or come in hungover, you know, like he's working 24/7. I've seen some really cool stuff where they're building homes with bots and it took them like, you know, insane short amount of time to do it. So it's coming.
The future is crazy, man.
Future's here. The future's here.
That's awesome. So you just mentioned that you are a father of 3 and you are married. You are a musician, you are a gardener, you are like a cook, so many different things. How do you balance building a high-tech business with AI and living, you know, the family lifestyle?
Yeah, well, thanks. That's a great question. And that just goes to what we were talking about before the show, how we just acquired a couple of very strong equity partners that have a background in growing and scaling companies to 7-figure MRR, ranging from trailer companies to print companies, pest control, software, AI companies. And so for me, like, you know, just growing into who I wanted to be, I love my life. Working from home, just chill, low stress. My kids, I could see them every day, right? They're not in school with some stranger. Like it means a lot to me to have that lifestyle. But at the end of the day, my ambitions as an entrepreneur, as a man wants to continue to grow. And I said, you know what? I can only go so far doing this. Yeah, I have agents that are working for me now. But at the end of the day, I said, I need to find some help. And so the universe brought me 2 amazing guys that I'm super excited to work with, and they're going to be able to catapult this, you know, further than I could ever imagine. So yeah, man, I help is the answer for me. I had to just get some help and God brought them. So super excited.
Actually, I would like to talk a little bit about the process of finding those guys that would basically come alongside you, invest in your business and helping with that process. And I know a lot of people could benefit from that. So what is the process to finding those types of people and signing them into your company and helping you with that?
I don't know if I'm the right guy to ask that, to be honest with you. I went into a community group that I'm a part of. And I just, you know, I started to say, you know, maybe I just need to get some consulting on how to grow, how to put better processes, systems into place so I can really scale this. I can only do so much, right, where I'm at. And, you know, they have that saying, if you want to go fast, do it yourself. But if you want to go far, do it with the team. And I just started thinking about that, right? And I'm like, all right, I got to change something here. Like, I got to get out of my comfort zone. COVID really like did a little switch in me because now I'm not out and being as social as much. And I started to be more of a homebody and behind a screen. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. And, you know, I think that kind of changed me a little bit. So I was like, I got to get out of obscurity. I didn't even use social media for 5 years doing my real estate stuff. I wanted to prove I didn't need that. And I did. But now moving into the AI, it's like, all right, I got to get out of obscurity. So now I'm trying to grow this AI business. Okay. And I really just eventually was like, I need some help. Went into this Facebook group that I'm part of, the community. I was like, who's like the big dog consultant here who has experience taking companies and scaling them to 7-figure a month, you know, revenue? And there was a handful of people. And then this one guy, he direct messaged me and he was like, hey man, I saw your post. He's like, I don't rarely get on Facebook, but I thought I'll just reach out and see kind of what your needs are and see if we can help. And that's how my partner ended up. So we ended up having a talk and just really connected and just had multiple conversations. I mean, some hours long and just really feeling someone out. I had some bad experiences in my past with partners, and that kind of burned me. And I think that prevented me the lack of trust of really growing a team. Just like dating, you know, when you get burned really bad, boy, you don't want to, you know, I'm not getting married. I don't want to let my wall down again.
Yeah.
But
so how did you overcome that though? Like
what's my vision, my goal? Like I want to take this company to $1 million plus and then build it and then exit and grow more, but give my family financial, you know, stability, to give us the opportunity to live life to the fullest. You know, we're here to live life and we're here to grow through life, not just sit behind computers and make money all day. Like, this is all wonderful, but there's a bigger picture here. And I think we're all trying to get there. That's why I became an entrepreneur. I don't want to be in this rat race. I don't want to work for someone else's dream. I want my own dream. You want your own dream. And so I said, you know what? There's gonna have to be some sacrifices. I have to get out of my comfort zone here, you know, working from home and just doing what I'm doing. And so I'm just so blessed to be where I'm at. Every day I wake up and I say, you know, the right people are coming into my life, the right people. And I affirm that every day. And I visualize that every day. And I guess it's coming to fruition and it's happening. And so I just want the lifestyle for my family I didn't have. You know, I want to retire my mom, give her a house. I want to travel the world. My wife is German and all her family's over there. And she hasn't seen, you know, most of her family for
a long time. Yeah. Man, yeah. A why, when you know your why, that basically, you know, a lot of people, they just like journey through life without like finding what their purposes are.
Yeah.
This is probably like one of the most important thing to kind of, you know, set as you're starting your business or even like, you know, pursuing that. Now you know your why, and that really dictates every single other things in your life. And when everything kind of works congruently, that's when the magic happens.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy. You know, we all have ups and downs and struggles, and you know, the real estate market was challenging the last year and a half, and like trying to pivot, like how do we figure it out? You know, it wasn't so easy. Like I said, when COVID was kicking in, like no one knew what was about to happen. And I had just got into it. Like, is this normal? Like, no, this isn't normal. So, you know, it's all about pivoting and learning and growing. One of my favorite quotes is by Eric Hoffer, and he says that, you know, learners will inherit the earth, while the learned will find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists.
Wow. Deep.
And we just got those who learn, read a book, get in some, you know, whatever you got to do, just keep on learning, learning.
Which is why, and surrounding yourself with the right people too, which is why I love, you know, masterminds and all the other stuff, and being part of, you know, several different communities out there. And I know that you were part of one of them that we share mutually, but that's the opportunity, like, you know, sitting in the rooms, like learning from their peers.
Oh yeah.
And also like, you know, being able to stay abreast, is that the word, ahead of time, like from other
Sure.
people by being around other people that are sharing the same mindsets
course.
and doing all of that. Man, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show today. Learning a ton about like AI and the different things that your business is doing. It's fantastic. For anybody that are watching this, if you had to give them an elevator pitch of what your business Stellar AI Solution does, what would you tell them?
It's real simple. So we help real estate professionals streamline their workflows. We boost their productivity and increase their revenue, their top line revenue. And we do this through AI powered systems and AI assistance.
Yeah. If you had to give somebody, like a lot of people out there, they just want to go 0 to 100. If you had to give them like a 0 to 1 advice to apply AI to their business, what would that be?
Start messing with OpenAI, ChatGPT, these language models for sure, large language models. Easy. It's easy. It's free. You jump in. Obviously, they got different models, pro and stuff, but just start using it. You don't know what you don't know. And that's what I'm finding. I feel like I'm like a little kid with this AI stuff. Like, I didn't know you could have a thought and build something. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. And then, oh, let me try that. And so the rabbit hole gets real deep once you realize the power that you have. A lot of people just ask it questions like they do Google, but that is a very, very, very powerful tool, and you can use it to your benefit in many, many, many ways. And like I said, our AI Ultimate Toolbox has a resource where we have like, I think 50 different prompts you can put into GPT to have it be like the end all be all, an advisor, sales coach, etc. So I'd love to share that if anyone's interested, but start somewhere. Just start investigating immediately, because at the end of the day, a lot of people say, is AI gonna take away people's jobs? Once again, like, I think yes, it will, but it will replace jobs. But more importantly, it's your competitors who are using it that are going to replace you.
Yeah, for sure. What is the one or two things that the people that are already started using AI, what are some of the things that they're doing wrong using AI? What are the things that they can do better?
Man, that's such a broad question. If you just start with the basics, chat, once again, GPT, stop treating it like Google, asking it questions. Have it like more of a, like you're a trainer. For example, pretend you're a world-class salesperson, maybe like Chris Voss or Alex Hermosi, and I want you to create a email campaign reaching out to prospects, for XYZ, right? Look at it from your training or what you want it to be, rather than just asking it questions. Yeah, it can give you questions and stuff. When it comes to, like, I don't get into the coding and all that stuff. I'm primarily, once again, focused on using it to eradicate stuff that I'm doing and taking up my time. So every day, oh man, I just did that. Can I create an agent for that? Oh yeah. And then I just build it.
Yeah. So this is a great advice, because I know a lot of people out there, and that was me for the longest time too. When they are using it, they just kind of put and say, hey, make this better. This is not a prompt.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you kind of really tell it like, the right way. Prompting is everything. Like, you have to tell it the right way to get the best result out of it, for sure. So for anybody that is watching this right now that wants to get a hold of you and wants to learn more about what you have to offer with Stellar AI Solution, how can they do that?
Yeah, real easy. So you can visit our website at www.stellaraisolutions. You can hit us up on Instagram, where it's boom.with.ai. Got tons of content on YouTube. Just go to Stellar AI Solutions. Facebook, just find us there, Stellar AI Solutions. I mean, we're pretty active.
Awesome. Any parting advice that you would like to share to anybody watching?
Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone and learn something new. Learn something new. Don't get stuck in your systems. I hear all the time, oh, we're good. Or we're fine. You're only fine until you're not, right? And all these people are starting to see AI and they're starting to use it. I use the analogy, and we can end here if you like, but I say, try to imagine racing that comic book character Flash right now where you stand. You're not going to have a chance. The only way you're going to have a chance is if you have those same powers, right? So everyone needs to start investigating, researching how they can slowly move AI into their business and their personal life. Maybe you want to save time and energy going on a vacation and finding the best flights and hotels. Use AI to do that. You don't even need a travel planner anymore. Sorry, travel planners. It is what it is. But yeah, just don't be afraid to get out of your skin, get out of your comfort zone, learn some new things, and hopefully you'll be more productive, efficient, and profitable.
Fantastic. Well, Thomas,
thank you.
It was such a pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you for dropping some knowledge over here.
Sweating here. I didn't know I was going to be this long, though, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Great to have you. And for anybody watching this, please make sure, if you're a real estate investor or anybody we want to learn about how to, run a real estate company with AI agents, please reach out to him and ask him any questions.
Appreciate it.
There you have
Thanks for having me, guys.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
It's fire, baby. Let's go. Good job, man.
Thank you.